Hey guys, I just finished recording this video. We're gonna go from day 1 to day 40 of Zach Makes Perpetual Stew. And right now I'm on day 300. It's actually up to day 350, so I'm personally missing out on a lot. But I wanted to see how this stew was made initially. And coming back from the video I just made, super interesting stuff. The one thing that we hear is perseverance. We get to see someone overcome so many obstacles. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you keep watching the video. Okay, so we're gonna be watching this YouTube channel. I've been just so interested in his journey of over a year now. It's looking like he makes soup in this perpetual stew. The whole idea is that he has one stew that will exist forever. So I want to see how this whole thing started, because he's on day 346, right? Day 346. Now, I'm only at day 300. So I just want to get an eye on this. I want to see what's going on with this stew. I want to see how it started, because day 304 is not the vibe. The rabbit's all gone. The garlic's all charred up. So let's click this. I'm very interested. Let's start this.
Hello, welcome to day 1 of my perpetual stew.
No way,
if you don't know what this is, this is a soup that you keep hot 24/7, and as you eat more and more of it, you add in kitchen scraps, leftovers, and a little bit of water to keep it full, and over time it develops very rich flavors. This weird environment that I have my soup in is a 3D printing enclosure. It is fire resistant.
Please don't
and
do this.
it can pump the air out of the window, so my house does not always smell like soup.
This is like the day after he started.
I'm starting off today with just a mirepoix blend, so carrots, onions, celery, and I hope this will be a good base for whatever else I add into it. I'm going to post updates at hopefully at least every other day to continuously monitor the flavor.
Around day 300,
which ingredients
they
do
are
best
going
in a soup
strong.
like this.
They are going hard with this. Okay, well, let's see.
This is day 2 of the perpetual stew. I've upgraded to a larger crock pot because the smaller slow cooker had an auto shut-off feature. So far, the 3D printing enclosure has been doing a very good job of keeping the smell contained. I tasted it earlier, and it tasted like a very bland vegetable stock. So today, I'm just going to add a little bit of salt.
So he only put water, carrots, onion, and celery. First off, that's not even nothing. It could have been something if he fried it up. He really unlocked those flavors, but the garlic to salt ratio. Okay, well, I think we're in for a good treat with garlic. Anyways, he could have prepped the vegetables so much better, but by just throwing them in and just warming them up, look at them. They're soggy. They're probably flavorless. They're probably like a bag of frozen vegetables, but let's see.
Garlic powder, and a few more peas.
That almost looks like someone unscrewed the lid and then he accidentally put too much garlic. But at least there's going to be like a hint of flavor now. I still would have put in more salt, though.
And something I think I need to consider is it lost a lot of water. So I'll need to keep an eye on that and keep it topped off.
The frozen peas, again, are just going to taste as flavorless as these vegetables here.
My hope is that
does he start eating it
powder,
now?
Because it's sitting in there for so long that it has a lot more time to break down, and I can get a lot more flavor out of it than I normally would.
I would have went crazy with it.
As much as
I would have went crazy, right? Like, I would have put as much salt as I can until the taste is unbearable, and then just kind of add water up to that, because, like, the crock pot's basically empty.
Fresh minced garlic, but hopefully a good amount.
Bring water. Nice. Yeah,
we will see how it all tastes tomorrow.
I would have tasted it today.
That this is a good way to get a lot more mileage out of powdered and older spices.
So, I'm a big fan of Old Spice. I wear their product all the time.
Welcome to day 3 of the perpetual
Look at
stew.
that. And this is just water, salt, and garlic powder, basically, at this point. This has... I wouldn't even know what this tastes like. It just sounds flavorless. How'd you get it so dark? How'd you get so dark so quickly? That don't look right. I've made hella soups and stews, and that color is a bit concerning. Or is it just the American veggies that secretly aren't veggie? What would they be? Almost, I take cooking pretty seriously. Mother is a chef, so I gotta impress her. I stopped it on the 3rd day, and mine definitely wasn't that dark. And Mom's done it with heaps of things, and it only goes like that when there's a lot more stuff in there, you know? Allie, you never cooked soup for 3 days straight, non-stop. I don't care who your mom is. Perpetual stew seems like a cool hobby. You know what? I don't think it is. I think it's a little yucky. I think at least the base is a little yucky. But I mean, this stew does not exist anymore. There's no way that these components still exist. Those have probably gone, what, day 20? Yes, the crock pot low setting should be at least 160 Fahrenheit. I'll get the thermometer soon. I'll get a thermometer soon for a specific reading. Too bad that your crock pot doesn't read it at. I've always wanted to try this, but never did, hoping the algorithm brings me back. You gotta like and subscribe. Hey, it's been a few weeks now. Check it again. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. And that's nice too. Let's go, Jazz. Guessing in this early. Bro, no stew has a black color, or at least none that I've seen. Plenty of stews have extremely dark color. It's just a lot of flavor soaked up. The temp is kept at 160 Fahrenheit. Nothing is growing in that stew or anything. No, I don't know. It almost looks like he put other things, like he already put meat or something in here.
Water is starting to darken, and it is looking much more like a soup should. So today I'm just going to add in a couple of halved baby potatoes, and I hope that this thickens it up just a little bit more, and so it will start having the texture of a real stew.
I'm not a cooking guy. I don't know this, but I wonder like if it's worth soaking the starch out of those potatoes, or if the starch is something that's going to help the soup. Is that the thickening agent that they're referring to?
Welcome to day 4 of the perpetual stew. I've overfilled the pot with too much water, so today I'm going to keep the additions pretty light. Just throw in some of these sliced criminy mushrooms and keep slowly increasing the salt content until I get it to where I want it to be.
I mean, you gotta have more salt than that.
The main addition, though, is this small hydroponics herb garden.
I wonder, you know what? I wonder if the broth is black because the ceramic bit that goes into the crock pot's black. It doesn't look like there's too much lighting. I mean, like, obviously this is big lighting, but I wonder if it's taking on the color of the pot. So if you were to pour it out into a bowl, it would be more clear and not that black.
I don't know how well they will grow with the extra heat, but I'm hoping the reflective surface of the tent helps them absorb more light. So we'll see how that goes. I would love to be adding fresh herbs straight into the pot.
And that's what this little garden.
Day 4 of the perpetual stew. I've overheat, but I'm hoping the reflective. I don't know how well. Day 5 of the perpetual stew. The mushrooms were a resounding success, but I'm starting to notice some off flavors. And the stew.
Okay, so we're on day 5. They're eating it. I assume that they started eating. How does this not be a pot of food poisoning? Hilarious. They're eating it. I don't know when they started eating it. Maybe I could guess as early as day 3. Getting a little mushy. Yeah, you didn't put anything in it, right? You didn't put any baking powder, flour, cornstarch. You didn't put anything in like that. So it's gonna be a soup. Mushy. I mean, I really don't know how you would make it not mushy by having it in for so long. Right?
It's getting a little too mushy for my liking. This is meant to be stew and not gruel.
Gruel.
Tonight, I will only be adding in 2 shallots, and after they have simmered for a little bit, I will attempt to eat as many of the solids left in the stew as I can. From what I've read online, it seems that cycling solids out can be pretty important. So this will probably be something that happens about once a week. Anything that doesn't get eaten will be composted. Day 5 of
That's gross. That means that some of these solids are not tasting good enough to eat. This is very common practice back in the day, and it was easy to keep food for a lot longer. Just imagine some families even had histories of keeping this stew going from generation in the same pot of stew. If you replace every board on ship, is it still the same ship? Fun. Ship of Theseus. This is interesting. I don't know how true it is. I mean, I'm sure it's true. Why would someone lie about it? But so do you take a bowl out to eat every so often, or just taste? Mostly just taste, but now that the broth has a lot of ingredients, I plan on eating bowls. Okay, well that makes sense. Because they haven't really explicitly said that they were eating the soup. That's where that confusion came from. I went back to see when this thing started getting funky. Day 2, I truly was not expecting off flavors this soon into the stew's life. You know what? There wasn't a lot of salt. You know, I feel like salt would have been a good component. I feel like if you wanted to stew, flour could have been a good component. There's a lot of stuff that could have been done, and even on the cheap, right? You know, you buy a bag of flour that's just for this, and you keep it for the whole lifespan of the stew. It'll last forever.
Okay, day 6 of the Forever Stew. Damn. I had to compost a lot of the solids that were in there.
That means the solids weren't good. Damn, that's crazy. And the reason why that's interesting is because he screwed up his first attempt. That's okay. I know that I wouldn't be able to get it right on the first attempt. I do think that next time he's got to focus on the solids more. The mirepoix is nice. But if you're not cooking the mirepoix, if you're not unlocking like the flavors of the mirepoix, you know, burning the bottom and then putting the water in and then mixing that with the burnt bits, you're just gonna have what he has.
They just got really gross. I think the new policy is going to be to eat whatever I put in within a day or two. To get things going again, I am adding a can of...
Smart, because by day 5, he had that bowl, right? If those carrots and things are sitting there for 5 days, that's crazy.
Of black beans.
Okay, that's what the comments were referring to.
And the rest of...
You gotta strain beans, obviously. It's full of grossness. I don't want to even say preservatives. I'm sure there's preservatives in it. Probably not, because it's a can. But that water's nasty. That water is so nasty.
The shallots, and I have diced up some Thai peppers.
Love it.
I'll let this simmer for a while, probably have it for dinner, and then I will let you all know how it tastes in tomorrow's update.
I wonder if he's adding the garnishes after, like salt. Is salt a garnish? Or adding whatever he needs to make it taste good outside. Like, I wonder if there's like hot sauce or something.
Day 7 of the Perpetual Stew. It has now been simmering for an entire week.
Discovered this on day 30. Now I'm going through the backlog. You had a gallon of souls. Oh, that was a popular comment. If you buy in bulk, yes, check your local Costco. Costco, I just saw Costco is selling $20,000 tiny houses. Like, Costco will sell anything.
Bowl that I ate last night had some really rich flavors to it, although it did primarily taste of black beans.
Because of that.
The Thai peppers I added, even though I didn't put in too many of them, gave it a really nice spice level that I really enjoyed.
Really helped get past that bean.
To add a little bit of sweetness and acidity, I am going to put in these halved cherry tomatoes. I think this will really balance it out.
I think that's crazy. Look at like a cherry tomato, bro. A cherry tomato, when you boil, you can peel the skin off. I saw this one thing in a fancy restaurant. What they did was they boiled the tomato and then peeled the skin off. And then what they did was they just like presented it like a fleshy vegetable. It was kind of weird. But that thing is going to just, you know what? I really don't know what it's going to do boiled. I assume it's going to taste like a wrinkly mess when you eat it. I wonder if there's a better way to add acidity. But again, these are kitchen scraps, right? So the whole idea isn't you're going out and buying ingredients. These are just things that you have around the house. So Maybe I could be a little wrong there. Maybe it's like totally cool. I just imagine them being so squishy, so wrinkly, so wet, like the opposite of a raisin.
I'm going to throw in a little bit more salt.
Let's go. Yep.
And a good amount more of garlic powder.
Put the whole thing in at this point,
I'll
bro.
let you know how it
Do
all
yourself
tastes.
a favor.
I have very high hopes for it, and I am excited that we have hit our first milestone.
Let's go.
Day 8 of the perpetual stew. Things are looking really
So what do we got
good.
here? Are those the
I
cherry
will
tomatoes?
get myself a small bowl of this and let you know how it tastes. Pretty tasty. I think
It's
the
black.
tomatoes were a good addition, although I may have added a little bit too many. You can only kind of taste the beans, but the heat from the Thai peppers is definitely still there.
This gotta help.
I have here a rutabaga. I don't know if I've ever had one of these before, but I'm very excited to see how it works.
Yeah, I don't know what a rutabaga tastes like myself, but I assume that it would be in something of the radish family. Maybe a radish meets a squash. I would say it's looking more like a squash now that I'm looking. I bet you that's gonna taste so good. I bet that's gonna taste so good. I don't know if it would taste good. I think it will.
And I'm just going to top off the fluid levels with some vegetable stock, as suggested by some commenters.
Oh, that's going to help.
Yesterday's video got a good amount of attention, and I just want to address some of the recurring comments that I have been getting.
Let's see, bro.
I've seen a few people say the phrase stew crew. I like saying it, and it is how I will be addressing you all going forward. Second, for those who want meats to be included, I do plan on doing that fairly soon, but I want a good handle on which vegetables do well. Most importantly, though, to those of you who are leaving comments concerned for my health and well-being, that is very kind. Thank you. To those of you leaving comments fully convinced I'm poisoning myself, but not really trying to stop me, I do still appreciate you being here.
What is he supposed to do?
To be clear, though, the stew is normally simmering, even on low. It just loses a lot of heat when I take the lid off to film. I believe simmering should be enough to keep things sterile, but in addition to that, I am turning the crock pot on high intermittently throughout the day, and definitely before I eat any of it. The reason I don't keep it on high is because I am concerned about the longevity of the crock pot. I feel that I'm already pushing it, keeping it on 24/7. If you have any suggestions in regards to that, please let me know. I do intend to make some dedicated food safety videos. Keep in mind I'm not an expert, but if you are still concerned or want to try it for yourself, keep an eye out for those. Thank you.
Interesting. Okay. So from a chef, as long as it stays above 135 indefinitely, it's fine. It can go below that temp for a total of 2 hours in its whole life to stay safe. In that case, you should really only have it turned up directly after adding things until it's back to normal temperature, yes? I would get the heat up before adding. Oh, interesting. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, they're gonna take the new items are gonna take a lot of the heat. But Google search told me that while consistently cooking will kill bacteria, it will not destroy toxin created by said bacteria. I don't know what a toxin is. You know, I've heard of this word toxin. Don't really know. Please get an induction plate and get a small pot for it and just keep it on simmer. Perpetual stew should never leave a simmer or it's going to spoil regardless of the reboiling. I'm definitely leaning towards this. Being able to swap the plate out if it starts overheating sounds like a good sounds good. Thank you. If you do veggies, you should add celery. Help sustain some Yeah, but that celery is going to be super soggy. By the time that it's boiling, it's gonna be so soggy. Add some Wagyu and yeah, let's go, baby. Wagyu would just turn into the broth and leave some meat strands. Lobster tail would be pretty damn good though. I vote for hot dogs and bologna. Last question for you. Did you know this has to be done with the ends of a full family first? Definitely never in high. Interesting. So Dixon saying kind of what I wasn't saying it at all. I was just saying his stew was initially missing a lot of qualities. And what Dixon is alluding to right now is that it should be a full family stew. It should be a full stew that's made, and then you just keep the leftovers and then keep that going. Interesting.
Stew crew, I have devastating
On day
news. I forgot to take it off high last night. Oh God.
What does that mean? I was empty because I strained out the mushy parts and cleaned last night. What does this mean? Does this mean that day 9 is done? The next video is gonna be day 1?
It'll be okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're just gonna add fluids again. We're gonna look on the bright side.
Wow.
It's definitely safe to eat.
Listen, I'm not against what he's doing, but this is a very sketchy day 9. This is very sketchy.
Once I bring it back, might have to feed it fluids and some good ingredients for a few days to get it back to something a little more edible. But as of right now, I'm still not willing to part with it. I'm not willing to throw it away and restart. So I'm just gonna rehydrate this.
Okay.
Carry on as normal.
This guy is making all the mistakes, but like this is beautiful. I love watching this. Like these are great mistakes for him to make. First off, he's showing that like he ruined the vegetables. Now he's showing that he ruined the perpetual stew. But he has a solution. You know, it's very interesting that, you know, a problem will come and he's able to solve it so effectively. This is very nice.
And we'll see.
That wasn't very... See, I don't know. It feels perpetual. Indefinite stew. Still was some. Basically none. Broth left. Yeah, I would give it that crusty. Yeah, stew with Theseus.
Stew crew, I have devastating news. I forgot to take it off high last night. Oh God. It'll be okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're just gonna add fluids again. We're gonna look on the bright side.
He will rise again.
It's definitely safe to eat once I bring it back.
Devastating news for
Might
the
have
stew
to
heads.
feed it fluids and some good ingredients for a few days to
Start
get it
over,
back
bro.
to something
Induction burner.
a little more edible.
Yeah.
But as of right now,
be closer to when this video
I'm
actually
still
takes
not willing to
place.
part with it. I'm not willing to throw it
Okay,
away
yeah, it was the same
and
day.
restart. So I'm just gonna rehydrate this.
Okay, let's watch.
Carry on as normal, and we'll see what happens. I've thrown in the leftover rutabaga. It smells surprisingly good, and there was still a little bit of moisture in the bottom of the pot, so I'm very hopeful that the
I would
stew
call it perpetual.
may revive. Stew crew, I have devastating news.
Bad
I
day
will
for
never
stew fans.
give up on the stew. We are back with an induction cooktop,
Wow.
a cast iron Dutch oven.
Those aren't cheap. None of this is cheap. Is this a thermometer as well? I mean, I'm interrupting him. He's probably going to say so. But these, you know, if you're not getting it like secondhand or something, this could be, what, $50? And the crock pot itself could be another $50. This Dutch oven. You ever Dutch oven someone? You ever throw their head in the blankets and then fart as hard as you can for as long as you can in order to gas them out?
And most importantly, the pressure canned remains of yesterday's unfortunate accident.
Let's go.
What remains of the stew will make up our new base. It's still hot from the pressure canner, so I'm having some issue opening it. And it hurts to touch. But, oh, there we go. To this, we add a mirepoix blend, some shiitake mushrooms, garlic,
Do it up, bro.
tomato, and some herbs. And finally, to celebrate our triumphant return, I have some browned beef cubes.
Oh, yeah.
Long live the stew, my friends. I will
live
see
the
you all
stew.
back here tomorrow to see how it all tastes.
I was only going to do the 10 days, but I'm very interested. It just got interesting. Bro, it just got interesting with the meat. Oh my God, we got a new setup. We got meat. We got a whole new set of mirepoix, a whole new solids. Okay, let's see here. Did you watch the video we canned it? So yes, canning is going to contain the heat, make it stay in perfect condition. I actually don't understand how canning works. It almost seems like magic. And no one I know cans. But it seemed like I talked to this lady, you know, I used to work retail. I talked to this lady, she told me about everything she can. She'd can beef stew, she'd can jam, she would can everything. And all her kids had to do was just open up and just pour the food out and cook it. It was so interesting. Anyways, if if day 9 was a bad day for stew heads,
I have
for the stew
devastating.
crew,
I
this
will
is
never
like,
give
this is incredible.
up on the stew.
This is inspirational. This is inspirational. Look at that. He has fresh herbs, veg, mushroom. Love a mushroom. I gotta say the mushroom is different than the veg. You know, cherry tomato, whatever. Put that in veg. I don't care. I love a good mushroom, right?
And finally, to celebrate our triumphant return, I have some browned beef cubes.
Long live the stew.
Long live the stew, my friends. I will see you all back here tomorrow.
This rules. This rules. What were people? I mean, blah blah blah. I had a bucket of fried chicken. Oh man, I almost wonder though. You take the skin off the fried chicken. I'm sure that would taste amazing. Can I get a bowl now? In in seconds, in 10 to 15 years. That's great. Nice. Infinite stew is not possible. After the first batch, it's completely new stew. Ship a Theseus comment. Rate of blindness per bowl of soup. I think that's like a moonshine joke. 2 days blindness. Canning some of the broth every week or 2 weeks might be a good idea, so you can do a comparison later, as well as have it in case the soup ever overcooks again. Interesting. Soup stew safe date. That's good. That's good. I would recommend investing in a Bluetooth thermometer. Inkbird and Chugged are 2 brands I've used, but I'm sure that there's plenty of others. You can set it to alert you if it falls below temps. I had no idea these existed. Listen, bro put out money today for day 10. Like, bro really like went hardcore. Induction plate, a Dutch oven. Like, a Dutch oven is gonna have such an equal cook. That I don't know how a Dutch oven works, but like that whole thing will be even temperature and it's gonna hold the temperature. And then comes back with meat. Long live the stew. Are we kidding? Are we actually kidding? The stew in the cast iron will start to break down. I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know of rusting cast iron. You've shown up on my For You page 3 times now. Your perseverance, sorry, in the face of adversity earns my fall. Like, that's the thing. He had 2 awful days. Like, one day was like just infinitely worse than the other day. The other day was just a solid sting. But like, he had 2 awful days, and now what are we looking at? We're looking at someone who just came back to win. And now we're on like day 304. Like, this is inspirational. This is a really good guy. This is a really good guy. Whether you absolutely need enamel cast iron, not seasoned cast iron. That's not the move. I don't know about this. I don't know anything about this. Is there any situation in which you would freeze soup if I was away?
To see how it all tastes. I
Love
will
it.
never. Stew crew.
I gotta hear that again.
I will never give up on the stew. Stew
Powerful.
crew, we face
Powerful.
yet another trial. The induction burner had a auto shutoff feature, and I did not season my cast iron well enough. I could see after just a few hours the season.
So I don't know why you would use a seasoned cast iron for this. I thought a seasoned cast iron was so that like oil is able to flow freely. Like, you see these seasoned cast irons and people have the oil just like flowing around the frying pan, and they will throw the meat or whatever in, and then, you know, you ever watch like Uncle Rogers and the egg fried rice videos? These seasoned pans are instrumental. Now, I don't know anything about the enamel. I don't know anything about the cook. I do understand, like, to season one of these frying pans, incredibly dangerous. For a fool like me. I'm very foolish, I'm very bumbling. So the idea of having it at such high heat and then just it burning off or whatever it does, you know, doing that process. Let's see if we can get a video. The idea of like treating your, what is it? Treating your frying pan with oil. What is this called here? how to season a cast iron.
I regret to inform you guys that after leaving this cast iron pot with my mother, she washed it with dish soap. So, I'm gonna re-season it for you guys. If you're watching this
that's
mama,
interesting.
you better sleep with one of these open. Preheat your oven at 350 for about 30
How do you wash it if it's not with dish soap? That Iron Man? That Iron Man? No. Good apple.
minutes. The first thing I want to do is try and remove any soap residue that may have been left by scrubbing it with some salt and lime juice, since it is more acidic than lemon juice. Make sure you're not using your regular sponge. Use a separate one because it might have soap on it.
Interesting.
Make sure it's completely dry, otherwise it will rust underneath the oil that we put on it. Just to be safe, I'm going to put this in the oven for 10 minutes.
Why would you want
Now that
this?
it's completely dry, cover it in a very good high smoke point oil. I don't recommend olive oil because it tends to burn. Try avocado oil or peanut oil. And if you're allergic to peanuts, when it's finished in the oven, it's very important that you leave it to cool in the oven.
Okay.
After that, you're left with a really nice and seasoned pan. If your cast iron is new, you might want to do this a couple times to get the desired result. Save this video in case one day
Let's see. Just so curious, why do you want to season? Okay. Seasoning creates a protective non-stick surface for baking oil into a metal through polymerization. I know that card. The process hardens the resin. Okay, so it helps it live longer, and it is good for cooking with oil. Perfect. Okay.
On the lid was deteriorating.
Damn.
I'll return the induction plate and maybe we can try a standard electric
Bro got a gun.
one. There is another user on here called Dogs Can't Drive who has kept his running successfully in a smaller crock pot, and I will likely follow his example though.
Really?
Despite these issues, the stew does taste delicious. You can see that it is starting to get its dark brown color back. I'm adding in just a few potatoes and some seasoning since I'll probably need to eat all of the solids tonight. I will continue to look for a solution and do it quick so I can return this enameled cast iron. I do think it would be nice to be able to swap between a hot plate setup and a crock pot setup just so I can give the appliances a little bit of a break. Regardless, I will see you all back here tomorrow for the update. Thank you.
Ooh, that might be expensive. Running it in the oven? I mean, running an induction plate should be expensive as well, right? Well, I really don't know. I just assume, because if you run like a mini heater, that's expensive. Anyways, first off, a major L with that auto shut-off feature. We got to get rid of these safety tools, these safety devices, because they're screwing up our perpetual stews. There's so many factors working against you, yet you persevere. Wow, I really can't read. But yes, there are so many factors working against him, and he's persevering. He's very inspirational, and he's got a good soup. He's going to have a good meal.
Despite the hardships that the stew has endured, we have made it to day 12, and I believe it is time to give it a name.
Okay.
Since there are Ship of Theseus type questions that can be asked about whether or not this is still the original stew, or if some of the canned broth is actually the real original stew, and etc., I think the name Stewtheus is fitting and fun to say. Regardless, I was missing the spice levels of the first stew, and so today I'm just going to add in a bunch of peppers. We have...
You know what? I was totally off the ball on that. I was under the impression that it was too hot for him. So
Fresno, Yellow Hot,
let's go.
Jalapeno, Serrano, and Bell.
Bell is probably as hot as I can go.
Let me know what you think about the name, and
Bell
if
is
you
a
have
little
any other
too much for me.
suggestions,
A little
and I
too
will see you all
spicy.
back here tomorrow for a taste test.
My hot sauce is mayo.
Young Stewtheus is officially a teenager.
Let's go.
Welcome to day 13 of the Perpetual Stew. I like the heat level. It does mostly just taste like peppers with traces of beef, but it is still a broth that I would gladly drink. All that I'm adding today are the leftovers of a rotisserie chicken and a little bit of garlic salt. I think letting these two things simmer overnight will really improve the flavor of the stew. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Goodbye. Young Stewtheus is officially a... 2 whole weeks the stew has simmered and it is tasting better than ever. The broth is extremely rich.
What is
and
that
I'm
big
adding in
mushroom?
these mushrooms to hopefully soak up a lot of that flavor. They are from a chef's sampler pack, so I don't know what species they are. In addition, some chopped up ginger to brighten up the flavor a little bit. Finally, we're going to top off the fluid levels with some vegetable stock.
I would have done the ginger.
Thank you, Stew Crew, for sticking with me so far, and I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you. Goodbye.
I'm binge watching this, and I can assure you that it's too much ginger. Yeah, it's way too much ginger. No such yeah, listen, if you like ginger, that's insane. That's like a flavorless spice. Are you opening some wild cards like vanilla bean or something? Or do you want this to be normal? I think he wants it to be normal because it's going to be around for a while. If it gets weird early on, it's probably going to be weird forever and hard to bring back. I'm not trying to be, Demon, you are not. You are not a jerk.
Way too much ginger in the stew right now. It has definitely overpowered the other flavors, although I wouldn't say that it tastes bad.
Those mushrooms.
Root vegetables and alliums have been doing spectacularly well in the stew, so today we are adding in some daikon radish and some shallots. To those of you curious...
The idea of having a radish with hot peppers and all that ginger, I mean, oh my... I'm sorry. Please put a Taco Bell bean and cheese burrito. Is this a joke to you? Hilarious. Okay. All that's like so spicy, and it doesn't have like like a deep flavor profile. I don't know. Maybe I want more like garlic salt powder or something, or like actual garlic or something. It's a joke. Sorry. Yeah, no, it's a little too much. There's a little too much, the meat's still in there. That's still probably going to be good. Potatoes. We'll just add more potatoes.
About the temperature, I apologize, but I cannot address that every video. I bought a thermometer that you can refer to, though. You can see it there in the
right
orange
here. How much has this guy spent on
Thank you. See you all tomorrow.
And that's the original.
Way too much ginger in the stew right now.
Oh, how original is that? I think that might be the original. I think that might be day 8. Sorry, let's just go back up.
Day 8 of the perpetual stew. Things are looking really good. Stew crew, I have devastating news. I forgot to take it off high last night. Oh, God. Good ingredients for a few days to get it back to some surprisingly good, and
okay.
I will never. Stew crew. Young way. Stuthius was canned yesterday so that Stuthius II may take his place next to Stuthius I, although arguably he is at least in part Stuthius I, and the currently reigning Stuthius is both Stuthius I and Stuthius II, raising questions about who is the real Stuthius. Anyways, I'm adding in today some pork neck bone and garlic cloves that I browned in my cast iron with some butter alongside green onions.
The stew needs.
I was a bit on the fence about pre-cooking any of the ingredients, but I think that the Maillard reaction helps give it a greater depth of flavor. As for how the stew tastes today, it's still pretty gingery, but that is alright. You live and you learn. Finally, none of the hydroponic herbs even sprouted. It may have been the heat, but I think that the seed pods were just pretty old, so I took the ends of the green onions and stuck them in. We'll see how those grow, or if they're even able to.
A little.
Thank you, Stew Crew, for 10,000 followers. I only expected a few dozen people to ever see these videos, so your support is greatly appreciated. I will see you all back here tomorrow.
Okay. If you're browning something on the side, you could always deglaze the pan with some stew broth and get those roasted bits into the stew. Yeah, great idea here. Big brain advice. You could freeze a teeny bit of each broth every so often, like an ice cube's worth, so that you can heat them up later and taste how it's been progressing. Wow, people are really getting into this. Since drawing Stuthius the First, has there been any extra water or additional liquid added to reconstitute Stuthius? More liquid was added in the past couple of days. Add Taco Bell. Bro, no, shot. No. Add 40 bouillon cubes? That's too many. I think that's too many. Okay. Yeah, interesting.
Welcome to day 17. We are finally getting through the ginger flavor, and the meat that was added yesterday is extremely tender and very tasty.
So
I'm very excited to try out these Pee-wee potatoes. The potatoes that I've halved and put into the stew have had some issues with breaking down and getting a little too mushy. I'm hoping that with the skin protecting it entirely, that they hold up a little bit more. In addition, some Worcestershire sauce and some crushed red pepper flakes to bring the spice levels back up.
Okay.
Thank you and goodbye. Welcome to day 17. We are finally getting...
You can add ingredients to make this a one-day blinding stew. My mom always used to make it for me when I was a kid. It's different. Umami flavors like oyster paste, soy sauce, or miso. Be good. Was keeping it from becoming a cesspool. High levels of salt, vinegar. That's the heat. Bro, you know they typically ate all of the solids in the stew before replenishing it. Otherwise, the flavor breaks down. Stew police here. Yes, he does know that. Turn up rutabaga. I get tired of potatoes. They hold up a little bit better. Different tasting. Yeah. I'd probably just stay with potatoes personally. You get flavor fatigue. I mean, kinda, right? He's gotten ginger flavor fatigue. Flavor changes often every day.
Happy Mother's Day, Stew Crew. I cooked steak and eggs this morning, and we had a lot of leftovers that I am adding in. I also caramelized one whole yellow onion in the same pan that I cooked the steak in. Furthermore, I deglazed it with a splash of red wine vinegar and some water. Finally, I cycled the solids out last night, but I am returning the largest pork neck bone back into the stew to see how it holds up after a few more days cooking. If you're curious to see what happens with that, come back in the next day or two. Thank you. Okay. Goodbye.
That's odd.
Happy Mother's Day, Stew Crew.
Are you eating the solids out of the stew each day? If you aren't partaking from the stew daily, I'm out. Oh, he is. He said in an earlier video that he aims to eat the solids out of the soup. I want him to live off it. Bro, it's so weird. Okay, what are the blinding properties? What blinding property? I don't know what that means. Brother, we need to have a video structure to be trying the stew from the add-ons today prior, rating it, then explaining the next edition and why. Oop, I forgot I know I was forgetting something, my bad. You know what, this Pawpaw comment here, I think that's how he actually does it. I think he will go like, we added this yesterday, it didn't taste too good, or it tasted good, we're gonna add this today. Interesting. Wow, we're really seeing this guy's channel just grow. This is so like awesome. Day 3, yeah, you know what, bro? You know, why not swing for the fences with the Crunchwrap Supreme though? Hilarious. Okay, are you like cleaning out the pot? No, it's only the 6th pot because of like all the interruptions, all the screw ups.
This is how I clean the soup for those of you who have been asking. I just strained it into
That's crazy. Oh, I just got called out for being wrong.
Another pot and let it simmer while the crock pot cools down enough for me to clean it. And whatever that is left over in the strainer is usually just a little too mushy to enjoy, so I throw it into the compost. I had 2 bowls of the stew, one last night when I removed the bay leaf, and another this afternoon. The first bowl was very good. It definitely tasted like cabbage, but it was not as overpowering as I thought. I could clearly taste the onion and the broth. The second bowl this afternoon was very, very mushy. It had some off flavors, but overall it wasn't too bad. Today I'm adding in some tomatoes to round out the broth a little bit more with some acidity and sweetness, garlic because it's garlic, and some potatoes to soak up this amazing broth that we have, and a little bit of crushed pepper flakes just to bring the spice level up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Finally, here's the pork bone. As you can see, it is extremely fragile. Most of it crumbles away with very light pressure. Come back tomorrow to celebrate Stuthius's 21st birthday. This is how I clean the soup for those of you who have been...
Be careful of adding scraps. Interesting, I did not know that. Begging you, please put horrible idea. Do it immediately. The point is, bean and cheese. Could that work? The problem for me would be the tortilla. Will this blind my child? oh yes, okay. This is like that weird moonshine joke. Okay, no, I get it. But does it retain the blinding property? Oh yes, very blind still. Even more so, I say. Why is everyone talking about? So not the stew, but a soup. Okay.
Stuthius is now...
I don't know what these people were expecting at the idea of it, like having all the ingredients be there perpetually. Like he's just gonna boil things, but they want him to eat out of it.
Old enough to drink. We're off to a bit of a messy start with the Guinness exploding, but it is just a fact of life that you can't have a party without a little bit of cleanup after. I had one small bowl last night. The potatoes were delicious, They absorbed the broth very well, and I think that was the correct number of tomatoes. I was a little worried there wasn't enough, but because it cooks for so long, all the flavors extracted and the broth balanced out very
It
nicely.
looks cool though.
Today we are adding in some lamb chops. From my understanding, these are slightly gamier than beef, so I want to see how long that flavor lasts in the stew.
Garbage
and
veg,
also just a
bro.
little bit of mirepoix to get a more classic broth going. Unfortunately, I didn't plan ahead very well and overfilled the pot, so I'm just going to add the leftovers to the refrigerator and probably throw them in tomorrow. Thank you for celebrating the 21st birthday in Stew Years of Stewthiest, and I will see you all tomorrow.
See you. See you tomorrow, buddy. I don't know why people are tweaking over Guinness. LOL. They're great for stews, and it's not uncommon at all. Maybe the whole can was too much, but it'll be diluted in a few days anyways. Yeah, I mean, people use Guinness for steak and potato stews all the time. 4 more. Stewthiest can rent a car. Love that. This is a forever soup, not a stew. I mean, maybe I need y'all to know that regardless of my opinions on my name, I fuck with the forever soup. Shut up. Listen, bro, what's the difference? I mean, I know the difference. This is a soup. There's no thickening, binding agent. He puts roux, so technically it's permanent gumbo. Okay. I'm faithfully watching this every day, and I would honestly really like to know why Guinness. Why Guinness? I don't mean the specific brand, but why beer at all? Well, it's a fun joke. Works similarly to adding red wine to soup. He added quite a bit of beer to the stew here, more than you normally would, but it's really a great way to round out flavors and marry it all together. The alcohol reduces as you cook something, so if you're worried about that, don't. Cooking wines have low alcohol content because the alcohols could be cooked out regardless.
Day 22, and this is the best the stew has ever tasted.
It looks good.
The lamb was delicious.
It looks
The broth
good.
was pretty good. I was a little worried I had added too much Guinness, but I think the extra cook time saved me. And I don't know how it works, but the potatoes really do absorb acid. They were almost sour compared to the rest of the broth, but still very tasty. Since the solids have been removed, I thought today would be a good time to experiment with a roux. So I made a simple one out of 1 part butter, 1 part flour.
So this is where we're gonna get to the stew part. Okay, this is very interesting. This is where we get to go from soup to stew. I imagine it's gonna continue to stay a soup because from the videos I watched, almost a year later at this point, it did look soupish.
Those were the measurements that I was aiming for. I don't know if I got it 100% correct, but it looks good, and it did thicken the stew pretty considerably. Today I'm going to add a small little bit of turmeric medallions. I learned my lesson with the ginger to not cube them, and the last of my pea-wee potatoes, just so I have something to snack on later. Finally, I think the stew looks mesmerizing today.
Yeah.
Like a soupy lava lamp. Anyways, I'll see you all tomorrow.
Look how thick it is, bro. That's so thick. Compared to this, theoretically, would this by chance find a young girl who has a dye consisting of hair? What does that even mean? Yes, only for one day. Hey, young girl with a dye consisting of hair. Okay. It isn't cold. The fats would harden up. It cooled off. Okay, not gonna lie, this looks like fun. Like whenever you're hungry and don't feel like cooking, you just consult the mighty Perpetual Stew for its content. I'm really concerned about Perpetual Stew. Should have added broth to the pan little by little, not by dumping the whole roux in the pot. That's interesting. I honestly could have used cornstarch for what they wanted. Yeah, that's what I imagined. See, I don't know the difference of like what a roux would do to it as opposed to a cornstarch, but yeah, pouring it in, amazing. The stew is growing bigger and stronger as intended.
Welcome to day 23. Unfortunately, it looks like the roux did separate and the flour floated up to the top where it crisped and then the butter dispersed throughout the soup. Despite this, it doesn't taste bad. I'm not going to say it tastes great. It is a fairly bland vegetable stock at this point. And unfortunately, I cannot taste the turmeric at all, so next time I will be sure to add in quite a bit more. Today, I want to try to experiment with a much chunkier mirepoix blend. I want to find a good middle ground between extracting all the flavors and not turning to mush after a few hours. I'm not sure if the direction you cut the onion in is important, but I will let you know if I can taste any
Interesting.
differences in the textures.
Absolutely interesting.
I'm sure it is becoming more and more apparent, but my cooking knowledge is somewhat limited. I have recently purchased Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat by Samin Nosrat, and will begin reading that. If anyone else has good recommendations, please let me know. I am very dedicated to creating the best stew possible. Thank you. Goodbye. Welcome to
Okay.
day 23. Unfortunately,
Yes,
it looks
bones would help.
I'll admit, the stew does look a little bit more ominous than usual today, but let's
That
go ahead
probably
and get
tastes
ourselves
so
a
much
bowl
better,
and see how
bro.
it tastes. I would say that this is an
I
improvement on
hate that
yesterday's.
celery though.
I cannot personally feel any texture differences in the onions,
Oh, no,
depending on how they were cut.
It's probably all mushy.
Unfortunately, there are still no real distinct flavors to the stew right now,
You gotta
but
add
that's hopefully
salt.
what we are about to add in. I browned these chicken necks with a little bit of salt and some olive oil, so that takes care of our salt and fat.
I don't know, like, if I'm, like, just too suburbs for this, but, like, chicken necks, pork necks, very scary stuff. I don't know why people are eating this. They should just be eating the breast and the drumstick, or they should be eating, like, the pork chop. I don't know about these necks, hoofs. Disgusting.
For this dish, I'm also throwing in these asparagus.
Nice.
Not just the
Wouldn't you
stalks,
wanna
but the really
Wouldn't
hard
you wanna
base
shape the
that
stalks?
normally gets thrown out. I'm hoping that the extra long cook time can make it much more tender. And I did not forget a lemon for a little bit of acid. Look at me learning. Just like the stew, I am always evolving. Thank you and goodbye.
Love you. So inspirational, actually. This don't really a perpetual stew. Perpetual stew starts as a complete stew. This is making a stew slowly. Eventually it will become a perpetual stew, but it's not even a regular stew yet. That's a good point. This is making a stew slowly. It's killing me. He has had it stewing for hundreds of days. This is just him adding to it. This reminds me of the stew my dad fed me after I chewed his hair. I went blind for a whole day. Oh my goodness. I gotta see. What do we got here? Blinding stew. The one-day blinding stew is a popular chunky vegetable lentil stew featuring. It is designed for a rich flavor and a rustic poisonous aesthetic.
That is our one-day blinding stew. 1 yellow onion diced. 8 ounces of mushrooms. So these are just supposed to be cut in half. You want them chunky for that poisonous stew look. These are gold potatoes, but they're the tiny ones.
What's the
1
poisonous
carrot,
stew
they're
look?
supposed to be diced. 1 tablespoon of canola oil. So we're supposed to do this for around 6 minutes. Just
Oh, it's
gonna
for
add everything at
Minecraft.
once.
Nope.
We're also supposed to add 4 cloves of garlic, 4 cups of vegetable broth, 3 tablespoons of tomato paste, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. I'm doing 2 hefty spoons. Okay, so half a cup of lentils. And that is our one-day blinding stew. So I'm gonna do a little bit of salt and pepper. So I'm gonna let this cook, and then we're gonna finish this off with some greens on top. I'm just gonna add the spinach on top. Could I tempt you with 1 scoop of suspicious stew? It's a good
I don't think it's from Minecraft though, bro. Where does the daughter come in? What exactly makes Blinded by? I'm from Germany. Okay, world babies. Interesting. Okay, let's see here. Oh, blinding stew. How to punish my daughter. My daughter is biting hair. Okay, I'm a single father, so I don't have a maternal instincts. Calling all moms. This is the best way to tell her it's not okay without being too harsh. Feed her a stew that makes her blind. Feed her a stew that makes her go blind for 1 day. Stew that blinds her for a day. Feed her a type of stew that makes her blind for 1 day. What? This was a novel concept when the image was posted. I think part of it is that it gave an impression of being a creepy alternative world. So yeah, it's partly absurdism meant to confuse. It really is. It's been a year since the meme was created. Okay, let's see. Meme, flyer. Okay, so that is. Okay, so this. Okay, so this is it. This is the original. That's so weird. Okay. What do we even What are we even talking about right now?
I'll admit, the stew does look a little bit more ominous than usual today, but let's go ahead and
Okay,
get
yeah, we already
ourselves
watched this.
Today, the stew reminds me of alligators and swamp water,
Love it.
but it
Because of the
does not
asparagus.
actually taste as bitter or sulfuric as you would expect from the amount of asparagus that's in it. In fact, the chicken necks are the dominant flavor. I was pretty confused by
good.
this, but it seems that most
how
of that
big those
smell and
are.
taste comes from asparagusic acid, and it turns out that acid often breaks down with heat. I still wouldn't call the bases edible, really, but I think you could make them work if you maybe cut it into much shorter slices. Today, I'm just going to
What are
add in
those?
some fiddlehead ferns. I just found out about these and I love them.
What
They're
is
so
it?
whimsical, it feels like I'm brewing a potion. I'm also going to try this spice blend. I'll put the ingredients in the description, but it seems like
What is
most of the
that?
things you would want to add to the stew regularly, all in one bottle. So I'm pretty excited to see how this turns out. See you all tomorrow. Thank you. Today, the stew reminds
Okay, I'm begging you to add liquid back into that thing. Chicken stock. Oh, nice. I think it's time to start over. It's starting to look evil. Why are people commenting on the color? Isn't that what perpetual stew is supposed to look like? Okay.
It turns out that the fiddleheads I added in yesterday are slightly toxic if not prepared correctly, but I followed the instructions of cooking and washing thoroughly, so I think I will be okay. Besides, I really do like the way they taste. It's like a thin, coiled up asparagus. I like it, I like the way it
Bro,
looks,
that's
and I will be adding it to the
crazy.
stew again in the future.
He's gonna go
The
blind.
spice blend also did wonders for the flavor. It has a good amount of kick and
I
is
don't think you
overall
have
just much
something
more
cooked
rich.
for 48
As
hours.
Stuthius rises
Not
in
bad.
popularity, I see a lot of people who are a bit perturbed by the color, so today I want to see if we can change the stew's hue. Today's ingredients will be a lamb shoulder cut,
Wow.
beetroot,
Wow.
tomato paste, and I
Doing
will
everything to
top it
get it
off
to
with
go
some
red.
vegetable stock. I do normally do this off camera. I will not be adding coconut milk. I simmered a little bit on the stovetop, and after just a few hours, it was already starting to curdle. I think a lot of the off colors are coming from the fact
This guy is doing out of pot experiments? That's crazy. This guy's really putting in the work. I've never seen anyone work this hard before. This guy is like a really good guy. This guy should be like TikToker of the year, honestly. Well, he started last year. He's really doing something special. Like he's doing something special for himself.
that I am struggling to light a reflective surface. If anyone has any tips, please let me know.
Yeah.
But I do think that the stew is just going to be brown. If anyone knows of an ingredient that does not turn brown after 48 hours of being cooked, please leave it in the comments. I would love to try it. It turns out that the fiddlehead... I went a bit overboard with the lamb yesterday. I'll need to be
What?
more
No way.
careful in the future that one piece of food does not cover the whole bottom of the crock pot. But the
Oh.
stew does taste very good today. It's a little sweeter than normal from the beets and the tomato paste, but it has a very rich lamb flavor to it.
It looks so
I thought it would
good.
have been fun to turn the stew red with the beets, but that does not seem to have happened. Since I'm pretty happy with the flavor today, I'm going to add in some leeks and potatoes to absorb a lot of it.
Yesterday looked like a good day for the stew. It looked like a yummy day for the stew. This looks like a yummy day for the stew.
And just top off the spice blend as well as
Nice.
add in some whole black peppercorns. I will also be making a second attempt at thickening the stew. After the disaster roux, I saw some suggestions for a more straightforward
Wow,
cornstarch
interesting.
slurry. One of the big mistakes I made with the roux was not
dumping it
mixing
in at
broth
once.
into it and then adding it to the stew, so that's what we are doing here. And we're
Okay.
starting off small in case it goes bad, but come back tomorrow to see how well it goes. Thank you. I went a bit overboard with the lamb yesterday. I'll need to be more careful in the future. The stew was so good today, I
Really?
actually managed to convince another person to try it. And they said it was pretty good. The leeks
I bet it
shrunk
was
down
good.
a little bit more than I was expecting, but were still delicious, and the peppercorns were soft enough to chew on.
Oh.
The sweetness has started to
Oh, that's
dissipate,
gotta taste
but the
good.
richness of the stew has not. I was unable to tell if the cornstarch from yesterday had actually thickened the stew. Stuthius now has over 50,000
Wow,
loyal
good for you.
followers, and in order to
It took a
properly
month.
celebrate, I will make an offering of beef short ribs with the bone in, of course. I also really
wow.
liked the chunkier mirepoix. It stopped it from getting mushy so
Yeah, it
quick.
just makes sense. I
so
mean,
we're
I
doing
think
that
the
again.
celery looks
and
disgusting.
I didn't have onions, so we're
The celery looks disgusting when you pull it out and it's brown and it's all limp. Not a fan. I mean, the onions I kind of get. Like, I could probably do a mushy onion, but that celery is just too much. Celery's
using
wild.
shallots today. Finally, I really want to see how these shishito peppers taste, and I want to add a little bit of heat to the stew.
Shishito peppers.
Thank you,
Did I
Stew
see
Crew,
that?
for all of the support. I will see you all back here tomorrow.
There we are.
Long live the stew.
Long live the stew, brother.
Day 29, and I am leaning towards a larger crock pot. As I get the process down and I improve my cooking skills, the stew tastes better and better, and I've been eating more and more. Leaning a bit oily and fatty, but it does taste like a proper beef stew. The shishito peppers did make it slightly bitter, but it's not unpleasant. And I can feel it making me
Made it
stronger
bitter?
beyond
Oh, that's
belief.
weird.
The stew is still pretty full, so
Made it bitter. I don't know. I don't know why a pepper would do that.
I'm going to add in just a
Bro, look at this. You should have 55 burgers, 55 fries, 55 tacos, 55 burritos. Bro, this was the Tim Robinson sketch that came out on his Netflix show. That's crazy. That's how far back we're going in life. That was 2025. That was midway 2025. I'm doing something. Okay, let's see. Suggest enoki. They're like mushroom noodles, soak up so much flavor. You know, I wonder why it's not doing noodle. Oh, you know what? The noodles would probably like just be too soaked up. I can feel it making me stronger. I'm on the path of being an extremophile. Put the ladle in the freezer prior to doing this. You can also put salt. You can also salt the ice to make it colder. Wipe off the fat and run it over the stew again. Yeah, so the fat would be attracted to the cold. I don't know why that happens, but I've seen it before. It's very
full of starchy ingredients today to hopefully balance out the oil. I have some jicama root, which is slightly sweet, and I took a bite of it while it was raw, very tasty, and just a few potatoes. Finally, I'm going to put the rib bone back in, top off the fluid levels, and try this ice ladle trick to skim off some of the fat.
Nice.
It doesn't seem very effective, but it got a little bit, and I'm just going to assume the rest was user error. I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you.
Wow, look
Goodbye.
at that.
Day 29, and a man does not eat the same stew twice, for it is not the same stew, and he is not the same man. Welcome to Day 30, Stew Crew. I have a lot of things planned to celebrate, but first, the taste. It's pretty much the same as yesterday, but less oily, so I'm happy with the addition of our starchy ingredients. The jicama root ended up being pretty similar in taste to the potatoes. Today I am offering up a small handful of white pearl onions, these chicken feet that I tossed in tomato paste and browned in the oven. I've never cooked with chicken feet before, so I hope I'm not adding
the culinary adventure that this guy is going on. It again, this is so inspirational. I mean, I would never eat chicken feet. That's it's not food for 2026, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I've never seen a good chicken feet recipe. Wow. Like this guy is not saying no to anything except for like the dumb stuff like the Taco Bell, but very interesting.
Ridiculous amount here. And for a little bit more protein, the last of the lamb stew meat. Finally, I'm adding in a hefty amount of red wine to celebrate this momentous occasion. One full month of perpetual stew. I'm not sure what to expect flavor-wise here, but come back tomorrow to see how it turned out. Thank you for all the support.
That's a lot of wine.
A man does not eat the same...
It was crazy to find out about the oldest perpetual stew. Definitely made me rethink my meal prepping gang. Drag a slice of white bread on top, the oil, then toast the bread for an amazing crouton. Won't mold grow on the top. It looks kind of gross. Mold ain't bacteria. Isn't there a restaurant trying to do for this time? We meant to lie and say it doesn't look absolutely bomb. It does look bomb. It does. It looks really, really good. It looks very good.
Scary looking stew today. The chicken feet look like hands reaching up to drag me under, and the white pearl onions remind me of eyeballs. There's a very pungent sulfuric smell from the excess of red wine I added in. But as for the taste, it's actually not too bad. I think we were saved by the fact that acid breaks down under heat. With that said, though, it does absolutely taste like red wine, and this is the most acidic that the stew has been. However, the texture of the broth is downright silky. So today we're going to add in sweet potatoes for some starch and sweetness, and baby corn, and I'm hoping that these will absorb a lot of the wine flavor, and tomorrow that we have a fantastic stew.
Is gonna suck.
To help manage some of the excess fats as well, I'm going to drop this piece of bread on top and hope that it absorbs a lot. And as to not waste food, I'm going to go put this underneath the broiler and toast it. Pretty good. I think the broiler was the way to go. It stopped it from becoming soggy, and it's definitely a pretty solid piece of toast. Thank you. Scary looking stew today.
Bro.
It is a momentous...
So now the guy is using using the byproducts of the stew to eat other meals. This is so interesting. What an amazing project. I had a said I don't know if I can do something like this. Okay.
Today, Stew Crew, Stewtheus is being rehomed to a larger pot and is back to tasting more like soup than red wine. The sweet potatoes got a little too mushy to be enjoyable, but the baby corn added...
I don't know. I really like mushy sweet potatoes, so...
great texture. The sweetness from both ingredients helped to balance out the stew. It does still have that tangy aftertaste. And now the grand reveal. Here is the new crock pot. I got it for two main reasons. First, I think this lid with the rubber rim is going to stop the stew from losing so much liquid, so it won't have to be topped off so much. Secondly, this crock pot is able to cook sous vide, and it has a built-in temperature probe, so it can hold the contents at a specific heat level consistently. I'm only adding in Brussels sprouts today because the smell and the bitterness might become an issue, but I had the same concerns about asparagus, and the extra long cook time really helped it become very tasty, so I want to see if the same thing will happen here. It is a momentous day, Stew Crew. Stewtheus is being rehomed. The Brussels sprouts were a mistake. Luckily, though,
I'm going to go up to day 40. I don't have much to say about this. Like, the guy, he is, like, making constant mistakes and overcoming them. It's very inspirational.
The worst thing about them is the smell. They are very mushy and have a bitter aftertaste. I would avoid adding them to the stew again unless I had some that were about to go bad. But that's okay, not every day can be perfect, and you wouldn't improve if everything went well. On the bright side,
I wouldn't have opened it up. I would have eaten the whole thing. Wouldn't it taste good with all, like, the leaves being...
It's still very rich with collagen, and I'm very happy with the crock pot so far. Today I want to build back up to a very solid foundation for the other ingredients, so we're just going to do the standard mirepoix blend.
Look at that onion.
I have some beef chuck stew meat. I will also be adding in a large amount of garlic powder, and I am trying out this mushroom spice blend. I really hope this tastes good in the stew because I love mushrooms. Things are already smelling much better, and I'm confident we'll be back to experimenting with new ingredients very soon. Thank you all. I will see you back here tomorrow. The Brussels sprout. We are back to being a solid beef stew today. I think it's going to be a great foundation on which to add more. I am really enjoying the flavor from the mushroom spice blend added in yesterday, and the beef chuck meat has been a notable improvement. Stewtheus earns a rating of 6 out of 10 today. It would have been an easy 7, but I overused the dried spices, and it threw the texture off. I do think...
I wonder if the Brussels sprouts taste better now.
A dish like this is the best place to use dried herbs and spices like that because it has so much more time to rehydrate and leak all of its flavor out. However, there is a definite grainy texture. As for today's additions, I was reading the Crock-Pot manual, and they recommended to thicken soups and stews by adding condensed soup to it. This condensed tomato soup was the only one I was able to find that did not contain dairy. I'm going to put it in to add some acidity, sweetness, and to get a thicker texture. Finally, a little bit of bok choy. I want to try some more leafy greens in the stew, and I hope this one holds up. Thank you. Goodbye. We are back to be. Stewthiest gets an 8 out of 10 today.
What?
The condensed tomato soup has really rounded everything out very nicely. The texture is vastly improved. It's much smoother. Either the grains from the dried spices sort of dissolved or they are perfectly covered up. I'm extremely happy with these results. This has been the first day where I have combined ingredients that I don't commonly see cooked together and gotten a very pleasant result off of my own cooking intuition.
Today.
I'm feeling pretty good about my cooking skills right now, so let's try a new combo. I have here some Polish sausage. I'm going to add in some harissa lemon chickpeas. I hope these can stand up to the heat.
Oh, so this guy is like playing with fire now. He had a good day. He had a good couple of days, and now he wants to put hot dogs and beans
and retain their texture and spice up the stew as well. Finally, I have some baby artichokes. I am a little.
Did he say chickpeas? Chickpeas aren't gonna spice anything up.
A little bit worried about the really tough retain their texture and spice up the stew combo. I have here some Polish sausage. I'm going to add in some harissa lemon chickpeas. I hope these can stand up to the heat and retain their texture and spice up the stew.
I don't know how it's gonna spice up the stew.
Finally, I have some baby artichokes.
What harissa is.
I am a little bit worried about the really tough leaves breaking off and maybe being bitter, so I might remove these after an hour or two. Anyways, that's all for now. Thank you.
Crazy.
Goodbye.
They have like a Pokemon that looks like an artichoke heart now.
I forgot to take the artichokes out last night, which I thought would be a much bigger problem than it has turned out to be. You can't really taste them, and they've become incredibly tender, although you still can't eat the leaves themselves. The stew is much redder today than the days I have added in beets and red wine, which is interesting. I don't know if that's from the sausage or the harissa. But I do really like the differences in texture between the chickpeas and the sausage. And the taste is pretty good too, although it is definitely overpowered by the spice from the sausage. Minimum, the stew earns a passing grade of 7 out of 10. Since I overall do like the flavor, I'm just going to add in some shiitake mushrooms and potatoes to hopefully soak up and enrich the broth a little bit. In addition, I am going to add in these ginger medallions. I learned my lesson about the quantity and about dicing them. Come back tomorrow to watch Stewthiest go on his first ever road trip. I forgot. Get ready with me to take my soup on an adventure. First things first.
Oh, he wasn't joking.
We must pressure can Stewthiest. After he has safely cooled, I take the medium Stewthiest and put him into the water bottle slot on my backpack, and then we head out to go start our day with some coffee. We then went on a lovely walk along some coastal cliffs.
Stewthiest in your backpack?
And Stewthiest got to witness the beauty of the natural world.
Bro.
He loved these little tide pools, and as a result of this experience has developed a newfound passion for marine biology.
The inside of that stew is probably looking the same as when you get some pond water and you put it in a jar and see all the life that starts emerging out of it.
As the day started to wind down, we walked back home, but stopped on the way to grab a drink at a local brewery. I am visiting a few friends out here who are interested in trying the stew, so I want Stewthiest to be at his best today. Since that is the case, I will be sticking with some more staple ingredients. I'm putting in 1 roughly chopped shallot. I watched an Adam Mergusia video in which he recommends kale for soups because the crinkled texture can soak up more broth.
Okay.
Finally, some garlic and beef bone broth for some good depth of flavor.
Okay.
I hope you enjoyed watching some of the memories Stuthius
Wow.
and I made today. Come back tomorrow to see how other people think of the soup.
I'm actually like so surprised that I was gonna be surprised by this video. I had no idea that I was gonna take the soup out for a walk outside. Amazing. Will Stuthius travel the seas to meet Supina? That's another creator who has a ever-living soup. I'd love to see what would happen if they got mixed in together. You should totally make your profile picture of one of the pictures of you and the stew at the ocean. Bro, finally added garlic. Is it not perpetual anymore since it cooled? This is not but a shard of soup. Stuthius. As long as some of him remains warmed, it matters little if there are pieces that are cool. Hey Stu man, I'm gonna be uninstalling TikTok for my own mental reason. Halfway as one of your only. Yeah, YouTube Shorts, that could be good. Yeah, I don't know why they want YouTube Shorts, but I mean, uploading YouTube Shorts would just be smart for this guy. He has the perfect
Big day
content.
today. We have
Like when we look at like making content, what we look at is like making series. That's a great way to get people invested. If you have like my top 10 series, and then you have 10 out of placentas back, if you have 10 videos that all kind of work up to a final action, like a conclusion, that's a great way to hook a crew. Now this will be a perpetual audience. This will be a perpetual audience, so of course they don't need the upload, but if they did, they would always have content. Are you offering? My placenta in my freezer, I took it home because I didn't want the hospital making money off of it. What? Bury it? Bro, how would they even make money off your placenta? Hospitals make plenty of money overcharging people. They don't need to sell placenta. I can't. I'm going to hold your hand when I say this shit. Okay. Yes, this made me laugh. That's crazy. Okay. Anyways, this is great for anything. This would be great for a long form YouTube channel. This would be great for YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, anything. Because like he has the days lined out, so someone can really just take track of where they are, where they need to be, or where they could start. It's a series, an ongoing series. Most of the videos are same, but they're quite different. They're very different. When you look at some of these like TikTokers who are making videos, you see them like they're doing like the same 5 bits. There's this girl I like. She does a Gen Z girl with no personality, like that kind of bit, like clock it. But what she does is she'll do the same 5 actions every video. At least here we're getting like some development, we're getting new vegetables, we're getting risk, we're getting reward. I think uploading to YouTube would be such a smart move, but who knows, right? Who knows why they're even uploading TikTok, right? They might not be uploading for money.
Have the first recorded reaction to the wonderful flavor of Stuthius that is not by me.
Yeah, that just tastes like a nice stew broth. Well, maybe more like soup. Well, I don't know.
No. Oh, don't.
Sorry,
don't get them started.
It's okay. It's okay. I guess it's just because like the stews, just as the stews I make are like particularly very chunky.
True.
But I don't, so I don't.
Yeah,
know.
No, there's a lot of broth, but all the ingredients are chunky, so I don't really know what to call it. Are you able to chew through the artichoke leaf?
Oh my god, it's so hot. It's definitely a little tough.
Yeah,
but it's chewable.
Let's see. Normally those aren't even edible. Out of 10.
Out of 10.
She's gonna give it a 10.
Like a 7.
Perfect.
I think
it's great.
Yeah, I think it needs more like fat in there, or like a more, or it needs more richness to it.
Yeah.
But like the flavors are good.
Perfect.
If it needs more fat or richness, I bet that is not a filling soup. I bet you it's just a whole bunch of ingredients sitting in that soup broth.
It needs more richness, yeah.
Thank you.
Damn.
To fix our richness issue, I am adding in a browned chicken back and some potatoes to soak up some of the acid I'm about to add in.
Brown chicken back.
I heard ales do pretty good in soup and stew, and this is a sour ale. So I'm hoping to get some good depth of flavor.
You would know. You added the Guinness on day 21.
And add the acidity at the same time. And I did learn my lesson about adding an entire bottle. Yeah. There's a little bit less than half left. Thank you. Big day today.
Okay, we got 2 more.
There was a pretty sour scent to the air when I opened up the lid.
Still so much
but
kale
let's
left.
go ahead and get ourselves a bowl and see if the stew is as sour as I fear. I'm very surprised by the flavor. It is not sour at all. I don't think I can taste the beer even a little bit.
Okay.
We definitely fixed our richness issue as well. It's just a nice chicken soup today. I would give it an 8 out of 10. The broth is very, very...
See, I'm so dumb. I don't really know how to explain what I'm about to say. But when I used to go to the soup restaurant, whole restaurant for soup, can you believe it? Their bestseller lasagna soup, go figure. They would have these like great soups, and you would take a bite, and then you'd have like one level of like flavor, and the flavor was incredible. Like he had a mulligatawny, and it was creamy and like, I don't know if it was cinnamon, I don't know. It was very sweet, very delicious. And then under it, there was like a real savory flavor. It was just some of the best soup that I've ever had in my life. And I'm looking at this, and I feel like bro is starting to get to that point where he's getting the 2 levels of flavor. Because I could just imagine a semi-flavorless broth. She said 7. There's no way that soup is a 7. For this lady's opinion. She ate a freaking artichoke leaf. There's no way it's a 7. But I feel like today, maybe it could have went up to a 7. Maybe. I think that richness really helps.
Rich and silky and tastes good. I do not have a plan with the ingredients today. We are packing up and leaving, so I'm just going to add in the leftover groceries that I bought and did not use. I am excited to try some chicken livers. I have never cooked with these before, so I am excited to see how they turn out.
For chicken livers?
Some habanero peppers to bring some spice to the soup, and a roughly quartered tomato, an heirloom tomato, that will hopefully actually add some acidic flavors.
I don't like
See you all tomorrow, back in the big pot.
I don't like looking at tomatoes. How good would... It'd be a hiding evidence. Called it soup, chat. Okay. I made fried chicken with spicy batter. I also made a homemade aioli in the blender. It was pretty good. It's not too late to remove the habaneros. Where's the placenta guy? Okay.
Stuthius has safely returned home, albeit mostly consumed. Things got a little bit hectic with packing up and saying goodbye to everyone, so unfortunately I forgot to film the tasting. However, I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. It didn't simmer for as long as it normally does before I eat it, which was the saving grace because it was already very spicy. If it had cooked for much longer, I think the habanero peppers would have completely taken over.
Garlic.
But because of the shorter cook time, you could still taste the tomato. That did lend itself to some good flavor. I did not, however, really care for the texture of the chicken liver, but overall the flavor was pretty good. Okay. I want to build up a nice solid broth today.
I just couldn't imagine eating a chicken liver. Like I eat, what's that paste? There's a paste. Liverwurst. And that's a fun cold treat, but like eating a liver, bro. I mean, come on. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. I'm not gonna eat liver. Because I'm gonna have to get a mouthful of like warm liverwurst. Do they feel the same? I feel like they feel the same. Kind of like mealy and grimy and like sandy. I don't know. First the chicken feet, then the chicken backs. What a weird... Is that how people refer to chicken? Chicken backs? This guy, I'm not sure about this guy.
So we're going back to basics with the mirepoix blend. A good handful of roughly chopped garlic. A lamb shank. And finally, finishing off with the mushroom umami spice blend. Come back tomorrow for a fully revived Stuthius and for us to really get cooking. Thank you. Stuthius.
Okay, I gotta call it here. I really gotta call it here. What did we see today? What did we see today? We saw someone who had so many trials and tribulations and so many events where mistakes happened, mistakes were overcame. We saw a really powerful person do a very powerful thing and step back from failure in order to make this project real. And then at this point, invest in the project. Really go all in on its success. And then what we saw was his ability to step from the edge, from burning that soup. You know, what was it, day 7, day 8? I believe it was day 8, where the soup was completely burned, and he brought it back from that crusty bit. Stuthius almost failed, and he came back. The very wet veggies, the soaked veggies, he came back from that. He came back from the ginger. We're watching someone really like learning. We're watching someone like grow at each challenge. As we know, the more failure that you do, the more success that you'll be able to find, because you'll be able to overcome these failures. And that's what our friend has done. Now, I'm quite sure that they're going to make the same mistakes in some capacity in the future. If it's not garlic, it'll be another potent, intense spice or root. Garlic might be a root. It's a very interesting watch. It's a lot different. You know what? It's not even that much different from day 300 where I'm at, but he doesn't make these mistakes anymore. So, very interesting stuff. I would definitely recommend this guy. What's his name again? His name's Zach. Zach Makes. But it's like Zach's like facts. Frequently asked question. The Zach asked question. Zach Makes. If you're looking for it, obviously, I would just Google Perpetual Stew. It really is a great story. Maybe I'll come back to it. I feel like a lot of the issues have been fixed. I think that us getting to see the stew go on a vacation, what a great send-off for at least this video. The Stuthius is back. I actually think watching episode 40 was too much. I feel like episode 40 would be like a great start of season 2. But if we're treating this not like a show of seasons, but we're treating it like a movie, we hit a happy ending. We hit peaks, we hit valleys. That lady definitely lied about the 7. For sure that lady lied about the 7. Look at all of these great setups. And look at the learning that we all did here today. We were learning about the cast iron pan, and we're learning about the eating hair and making a stew that will make your daughter blind for a day. We learned quite a bit. Okay, well, I want to thank you guys for joining, and have